Oh! Go ahead. Introduce us, Tony.
Hi, we have Big Bottom episode 29.
Oh,
29.
wow.
And today we had.
The reflective part of the 20s, where we look
Oh,
back and
yeah.
see.
Yeah. Well, some people like, oh, I can't believe what next year is.
Right.
30s. Wow.
Dirty 30.
Ooh, dirty
30
30.
30.
There you go.
We had Keith Stickney on today, the owner of Tsunami
We
Cables.
did. One of our very good friends.
Yes.
And now Tsunami Audio. So.
Which is
Yeah.
pretty exciting.
Yeah.
That project's
Mhm.
been
With the
in the works
V15.
for a few years, and we saw like one of the first inceptions to where
Mhm.
it's now is pretty rad. It's very cool. I'm excited to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great sounding preamp. So I'm stoked for
Yeah.
it.
Now we got and obviously our boy, and we love Tsunami Cables.
We love Keith.
Great. Yeah. Yeah, so episode 29, and
Mhm.
there we go.
How you guys doing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting to the final push for this virtual school, so it's everybody's just exhausted.
My kids are back full time.
Wow.
So
Cool.
yeah, I'm happy about that actually.
I just feel like
Yeah.
there's a little light, there's light at the end of the tunnel, which is thank
Right.
God, man. It's been a
Yeah, I
weird.
got gigs.
Yeah,
That's
you got
cool.
gigs. Yeah. Yeah, things are, it just, I have a couple of GNL artists that are actually on the road right now as we speak, which is kind of nice.
Nice.
You know,
Sweet.
kind of a nice, just like, oh,
Sweet.
just beautiful, just great, and yeah, I just really, man, yeah, this, we just need to get over this and get back to it. And for me, I keep saying it, man. I can't wait for summer. I feel like summer was robbed last year, and I just,
Right.
just to be relaxed and not on edge, and just relax and have a summertime.
Man, I love heat. I love
Yes. You
You
know
know?
me. You know me.
Yeah. Anything under 60 degrees, Steve starts pouting.
Dude, it's like 65 outside, and it's 70. I have the heater on. It's 70 inside my house, and it's just like,
you do not. Do
I
you
do.
really?
yeah. Yeah. Yes, I do.
Man, Steve would get upset because during the day, my house is at 66.
Nope. Yeah, I'm in sweats, hoodie. Yeah. Compression shirt on underneath. It's very sad.
We will not see Steve on the East Coast in winter.
No, I will
Yeah.
get out there. And I will man up, and I will be a man. And I will take it
No,
out there.
out here,
Yeah.
the best time, end of September.
And it's
Oh, yeah.
springtime-ish, right? Is that
But no, and then September on the calendar is fall.
fall? Yeah, wait. Winter, spring, summer, fall. That's right, fall. I'll be back. Cheers to our new sponsor, Buffalo Trace, for having me mix up the seasons. Yes. Fall.
Fall.
Well, okay. You can't blame me. Growing up in Southern California, we don't have seasons. So it's meaningless.
I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so that's why I always have to go winter, spring, summer, fall. Okay, that's the
Yeah, Steve gets to miss color tours and stuff like that, Tony.
don't have that. It's a drag. 1 month, literally in 1 month, we can have all those seasons in Southern California. It's crazy. You know
You
what
guys
I mean?
have a weird thing that I didn't learn until later in life called the June gloom.
Dude, we have June gloom. Sucks. Oh, it's horrible. Literally, like June gloom is, and growing up Huntington Beach, like right at the beach, we would have a month of just socked in fog, and then it would kind of burn off sometimes. Yeah, June gloom. Made me sad. Makes me sad.
Picture that 30 degrees colder with snow on the ground.
Nope. No. I would get the depression. It would bum me out. But yeah, we had June gloom. Yeah, June gloom's a real thing. And the funny thing is where I live now, I'm more inland and a little more elevation. Everything will burn off at my place. It'll be sunny, and then I'll call my mom, and she'll be socked in because she's still in Huntington. So, and I can actually see it driving in. You can see this big just fog bank, man, of just yeah. That's the coast. It just gets socked in. You know.
Tucked in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit later in the night now. What we're doing these a little bit later, so John and I might be a little tired. You know.
Yeah.
Yep, it's getting to bedtime.
All right, guys. Well, episode 29. And you guys are doing great. Everybody's good.
No complaints.
Nice. So yeah, Big Bottom, episode 29. Our buddy Keith Stickney, and everybody enjoy it. And stay safe out there. All right, guys. Steve Arajo
John Moody.
Tony Paleo.
signing off. Goodbye. We are recording,
We are
gentlemen.
recording.
Episode 29, the Big Bottom,
29.
with our good dear friend Keith Stickney.
Keep
What's
it
up?
sexy right
That's-
there, Mr.
that's going-
Tsunami.
That's pushing it right there. Good friend.
Good friend. I only deserve one good.
I
I give
Good.
it.
I used two. Good. And just
That,
for
or, I
that,
mean, if
hey,
you're gonna go with two words like so. This is my
Yeah.
so friend.
I'm gonna see, but I'm gonna have a little Buffalo Trace.
Nice.
Buffalo Trace, if you're watching, we would love you as a
Sorry,
sponsor.
I'm being healthy tonight. I'm drinking
Yeah.
fruit water.
I'm
I
with
got
you. I got
coffee
just
with-
plain old regular water. Yeah.
So I got you
Yeah.
both. I've got the water on one side and the coffee with the MCT douchebag oil in the other.
Nice.
But hey, who says that Buffalo Trace isn't healthy? It's super
Right.
healthy for you.
And it has
There's
water, in it.
that too,
That's
Steve.
healthy.
It has. Look at my cube. I do these badass cubes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Look at that. So
Very
cheers,
cool.
boys,
Cheers.
and welcome, Keith.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank you,
little
thank
buddy
you.
Keith.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So for those peoples that don't know, Keith, owner of Tsunami Cables, some of the best
Yep.
cables out there. Love them.
Thank you.
They're fantastic. All of us use them. We use them at GNL in the real room where I do all the recording. So they're fantastic. Yeah, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
I have
Thank you.
hundreds of gigs on performances on
Yeah.
my original
I have-
set.
Yeah.
My original set. I still have my original set.
I have my original gray one that I bought years and years ago, and I still use the crap out of this one.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, going
Steve,
and going.
you're
and
not
going.
allowed to use skunk anymore.
What do you mean skunk? What do you mean?
So that particular pattern, we at Tsunami call skunk.
And then
You
blue.
can use
and
blue.
then,
Blue's fine.
and hey, I know that. I know.
Oh, that's John's.
That's my pink wanker right there.
What the fuck? You guys don't have the fucking trademark on this shit. I can use whatever
Yes,
I
I
want
do.
to. Fuck off.
Yes, I do.
No, it says John Moody's pink wanker TM.
Right. Yeah.
I gotta say, you're gonna have to fight the Coco the Sharp Pit because she loves pink. So
Uh-oh. Watch
good
out.
fucking luck.
I don't think I would have
because
to
your
fight
dog
her.
got
I
on
think probably
Tinder
she would
today,
just,
all right?
it would be more of like petting her, and she would lick my face, and I'd be like, and I'd be the winner in that regard.
You would. No, but they're. I mean, all joking aside, they're just amazing and
Awesome.
So we're having a lot of inside jokes here. Let's talk to Keith today, okay?
People
That's the
listen.
problem, though.
Yeah.
You know, Keith. In all seriousness, Keith has cultivated such a rapport with his artists
Yeah.
that we can have such a inside joke fest with him.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Keith, when well, first and foremost, you're on the West Coast
Yep.
with me. How
Yep.
I know the last year, the COVID year. How
Yep.
you okay? You doing well? We're
Yeah.
family all good.
Yeah, a lot of changes on our front. We moved to a new home. We actually moved my parents into the home, so
Okay.
my parents are now living with me. So which is a change, but it's a good change. My parents are pretty awesome and rad all the way around. So most of you guys, you have all met them. So and so they're very supportive. And yeah, I'm just trying to survive, you know what I mean? And doing what we can.
Yeah.
Orders have been actually fairly consistent and been going pretty well. So things are going well in that regard.
Cool.
So I definitely can't complain in that sense. without having any foresight of COVID actually happening, in January, we actually moved from the shop we were at back to the home.
Oh, nice.
Just because
Okay.
kind of my time was up there, and it was kind of either, well, I stay for, another year, or, bow out. And it was okay. It just wasn't working the greatest. Wasn't the greatest situation
Yeah.
overall. So it was just easier to go back. And then a few months later, well, a month or two later, COVID hit. And then 4 months after that, we moved homes. And then now I've got a studio here that you can kind of see as my little studio room. And then I've got a 3-car garage that is now the shop. So the shop actually
Nice.
doubled in size, if not almost tripled in size. So that's nice.
Wow.
And then now I have this cool little studio that I can, work out of as well. So yeah,
And I see Kona in the background on the wall.
I got my, which way is it? That way. I got my tiki guy over there. So yeah, and I'm able to set up my drum set, and what you guys can't see is I'm on a recording desk with a whole bunch of rack gear and a whole bunch of stuff. So
Yes.
monitors and stuff, and
like
lots of fun toys to play with. So
Well, it's almost like it was a happy accident that
100%.
it moved in, but that's and all of us talk about this all the time where COVID, you would think, obviously the lockdown and everybody was freaked out and everything, but retail was rocketing, so that's great to hear that people were at home, they were playing, they were wanting to buy stuff, so your sales were probably good, just like so it which is this weird dichotomy of thinking, that you would think that it wasn't, but anyways, it's a kind of a weird phenomenon. But I'm glad you're okay, and it sounds like everything worked out for the better, or the best.
Yeah, 100%.
Nice.
The odd thing out of all of it was, we have our, custom shop cables that are, all the custom crazy ends and stuff like that. And we've had more sales of those this year than we have in any year, or I'm sorry, in this last year, than we have in any previous years. And so it was odd. I mean, the sales in general were going up, but we had a lot more sales in the custom shop, which are, a lot more higher price point cables. And again, so it kind of adds to, even like you were talking about, you would think the same, I would be thinking the same thing. Like, I'm going to kind of hoard what I have, because you don't know what's coming down the pipeline. And people were, kind of spinning like crazy. So
I would say retail therapy, man, that dopamine hit of like, I'm going to buy this badass thing, whatever it is, to just help me, just make me happy.
Absolutely.
I did it too.
How many years you've been in business?
Yeah. When did you start?
2007 was like the launch date, or whatever you want to call it. So, So what is that? We're 21 now. So John, do the math. I play drums.
13 years.
You only did that
14
because
years.
I have to teach my kids Common Core right now.
Yeah.
So
I think it's
I think
carry
I've
the
been with
one,
you-
deduct
14
maybe
years.
14 right
14.
now.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Started
14.
I've
January,
been with you, what, 7 or 8 now?
Yeah,
7 or 8 years?
something like that. Yeah.
Nice.
So
I think that's the same with me.
yeah, I think we're all. Yeah, I think that, and I think Steve's shortly, just a little while away, a little bit after that, not that far.
2000,
So
2010 was Bass Hang.
Okay.
was born. So yeah, about the.
So
Right.
I'm gonna tell a little story. I was using the cables in theater, and I was using Monster, and I would have a Monster cable go out on me every 6 to 8, 9 months. One would break, something would some sort of or intermittent connection, and I was like, oh man, this is not so good. I can't. My MD at the time even said something like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, these are monsters." He's like, "Well, get something about." That's how they think. Get something else.
Yeah.
And who was I talking to? Damien. Man, what's that cat's last name?
Erskine?
Yeah,
Damien Erskine. Yeah.
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 I don't know Damien all that well, but we chat. We're friendly, and at that time, and again, I haven't talked to him in a while. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
But he said, "Hey, you should check these out."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh, all right. You have any problems?" And Damien at the time he's not the littlest dude. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
stepping on him and all this other stuff and everything. I mean, what we're doing, like I smushed Twinkies and all sorts of crazy things into mine, right? And I called up Keith and said, I want to jump on board. You know, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to jump into this big. And like again, like I have my original sets still to this day, you know.
Yeah.
So the only time I had something kind of funky happen was at home, and I think it was when my rack case fell on it, you know. What was that, you know?
Yeah.
So they sound just, you know, not to do a sales pitchy thing, but also some people don't know. Like I do A&R. By the way, I got into my email today. I got a lot of catch up to do.
Did you get any emails like I did?
We have a good form that comes through, but sometimes I get some random things, you know.
Yeah.
So I have like a new office area set up, you know, where I'm responding more to things and so forth. So yes, Keith, I've got some backup to do. So some people don't know I do A&R for Keith,
Yeah.
and I work with some of the artists, and we'll do some scouting and so forth. And one of the things that I notice about these cables, and one of the things I tell about everybody is not just the durability, but they sound fucking killer too. And they're hard to like mix up with somebody else's.
Yeah.
You know, if you're doing a like, God, do you remember like when you would do, you know, festivals, right? And you're clearing the stage, you got, you get 10 minutes to strike the stage. You know?
Right.
And everyone's grabbing it like, no, those red and purple one, that cable, that's definitely mine. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah.
So they not only look bitching, they sound fantastic. They sound, the quality is like the sound of like a higher end Megami. But the best thing I tell people, like especially like touring guys and stuff, they last.
Yeah.
They last.
They last.
Right? They work. They last.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, your average professional's like, I don't even care about the sound, even though they do sound bitching. But like, I want to make sure. Like, I think Uriah's like, even Uriah Duffy was saying, I want something that's just going to work great.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just
100%.
work all the time.
Right.
And that's the big thing.
Right.
And we just get one thing we can talk about today is Keith is expanding at Tsunami his line of products to something very different than a cable. Very different.
Oh, I thought we were talking about his beard, but okay.
Yeah.
We can talk about the beard too.
For me, the unit that you're talking about is right there. I can touch
Yeah,
it.
mine's
I can touch it.
It's that way.
I touch it.
You touch it.
Which,
did already.
Which
I
Keith,
very unceremoniously vandalized it too.
Yeah, you did, which had changed the lid.
Keith, can you expand on that blue box you have there?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a all tube Class A preamp. So what we've done is this is 2 channels. So you have one channel, 2 channel going across this way, and the idea of this is really to modernize the bass guitar amp, the tube amp that we all love. Everybody sought after sound, which is the Ampeg B15. The tone and sound of Motown, all the early rock stuff, basically everything that, and even to this day, people are still mimicking. And so anyway, so what we've done is we took with that inspiration, they're not carbon copies, they're, it's an inspiration, but you have a channel from basically the preamp from the early 60s of the Ampeg, which is a 6SL7 tube. I'll try to get it a little bit closer.
Yeah,
there.
nice. Okay.
And then you have the early 70s, which is a 12AX7 tube. Now, those are the tubes that they used in the early 60s and the early 70s. It has kind of your stereotypical Ampeg style, B15 style of EQ, where you just have a treble and a bass knob. Sorry, I'm trying to move my fingers in the right way. And then we also added what they called the ultra switches, which was like early to mid 70s. The purists out there will be like, it was this date, but so and basically what the ultra switches do is the high is a high shelf boost, and then the low is basically a taking out of that shelf. So it's the same shelf, it's just one's boosting it and one's actually taking it out. So in
little lag. Hello. Uh-oh. We froze.
Are we good?
Yeah, we froze up a little bit.
Hold on 1 second. Let me. Oh, sorry guys. Let me make.
No
sorry, let me
worries.
change this real quick.
It looked all good over on my end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it froze up on my end. I may let me
Okay, am I good?
Yeah, let me hardwire myself in. Keep going, guys. Sorry.
That's why Steve
Okay.
can't have nice things.
That might have been
Good
my
going,
fault. I just
Steve.
realized I was on the wrong Wi-Fi, so we're good now. So that might have been my bad. Should I just continue where I was at, or?
Yeah, let's continue. He'll join us. Yeah.
I'm here. You guys are
cool.
talking shit. That's all right.
Right. Yeah, it's all good. So
There we
so
go.
basically that's what you have. So you have the ultra switches that Ampeg had. So the way they worked was one was the high boost was a high boost, and then it actually was a low shelf. And it tricked your ear into thinking that it was boosting the lows when it was actually just taking the highs out. That's all it was doing.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So we have that, and then from there we basically take all the vintage idea and concept and tube tone that everybody loves, and then we modernized it. So with that, you have your instrument input. So there's your actual input.
Mm-hmm.
The bypass is an instrument level output. So like a through on a DI, right?
Sure.
So you have that, and then
Clean.
this is
That's
what's that?
clean, not affected, just a clean
No,
signal?
so we'll talk about that in a second. So
right.
so this is actually affected by the tone of the preamp.
Cool. I like it.
It has an output volume as well, so that you could treat this like a master volume, but
Okay.
that's just for that output. It only affects this master output, only affects this output.
Okay.
So you can run this into, say, the front end of another amp, your
Yeah.
pedals, whatever, right? So you can run that as an instrument level going to something else. The reason why it says bypass on it is out the back, we actually have a bypass switch that then you can flick, and now it actually bypasses the entire preamp. So that front end bypass throughput out is now not being affected by the preamp.
Okay.
That's the part I like.
It also has a 1/4-inch jack for a foot switch. So regular standard 1/4-inch tsunami cable can get plugged into that, and you can plug into a foot switch and hit the foot switch, and it does the same thing as this switch here.
Oh, that's cool.
So then you can use it, leave it all plugged in, hit the switch, and you can transfer back and forth from whether your tone is being affected by the preamp or not. The nice thing is the output for the balanced output for the XLR is always affected. So that's not bypassable. So that's always affected by your tone.
Cool.
And so is the line level output. So this output here is a line level output that will also be always affected. So even if you flip
So you
the
could go to
light
a
switch-
power amp and just,
Yep.
Mhm.
Totally. Yep. You can
here's,
go.
here's my preamp, boom, boom, that's fine.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. You can go 80s and run the Crown power amp to your, multiple 1,000 watts of whatever you're going to go to. The Balance XLR has a 20 dB pad as well as a ground lift. And then this is a power con for the power, and there's your on and off switch. So that's the back panel, real simple. Back to the front here real quick. You have also a dedicated headphone amp. You can plug your stereo headphones into it right here, and you have a volume knob right here to turn up for your actual headphone level. That just runs off of the back of the balanced output right to its own individual thing. So it doesn't affect the tone in any kind of way or affect it. The super, in my mind, I think one of the coolest features overall is the way your signal is being ran into these is actually a parallel situation. So you're not running from one into the other. Your tone is actually being split, ran parallel through them, and then summed together afterwards. So what's nice about that is you can then blend the two together at the same time, which is really cool. So you can get a lot of really cool tonality functions because the 60s one is very big, round, tubby, Motown rich, lows, all that kind of stuff. Where the 12AX7, the 70s, is a little bit more hi-fi, clear tone, not as big round bottom. So you can kind of mess with that as far as having a lot of one, just a little bit of the other, however you want to do it. Or you can get crazy and just dime them both, whatever you want to do. So
are those LEDs right next to it to show gain, like just signal and then?
No, the only LED is this one up here in the front. Sorry, I'm trying to get the video right.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's the only, and that just And all that
Okay.
does is just show that it's on. So when you
All right.
when you turn it on, it turns it on.
Got it.
That's
Okay.
all. So yeah, man, in a nutshell, that is it. The really cool thing about this is kind of a weird circle of events. This idea of the blending the two tubes and the two channels together is an idea that I kind of took from a Egnator amplifier. I have an Egnator guitar tube preamp or guitar head. I'm sorry, it's a 20-watt head, and it's called the Rebel 20. I actually have it sitting next to me, just off camera. And what it has, and I use this in my recording studio, is it has for the preamp tube, it has a 6V6 and it has a EL84 or EL84, sorry. And you can actually mix between the two tubes.
So that's the, oh, wow. Okay.
So that was kind of the cool concept. And I used to use it all the time in the studio for guitar players, is you can mix between the two tubes and get some different sounds. So my thought originally was, okay, well, if I can do that, why can't I mix between the two channels? Well, in kind of a cool, fate, serendipitous, whatever you want to call it, loop, Bruce Egnator, who designed that amp, is actually the guy who's building this amp.
That's
my preamp.
That's
so,
a $3 word you use there, okay?
So, yeah. So, which is really cool because, again, talking with Bruce as much as I have, I mentioned that to him and said, hey, I actually kind of stole this idea from you. And it's kind of cool that at the end of the day, you're the one that's actually doing it. So that's kind of awesome. And for those of you who don't know Bruce, I know John knows him really well from working with Rocktron and stuff like that, but he's been building guitar tube amps since the 70s.
He's a giant in the
he's one of the
guitar
dudes.
amp market.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's funny because I was actually talking to him today about it, and we were just kind of going over some logistics and some different things and talking about that. And I was mentioning to him how a lot of bass players don't know who he is. And then I would say, go look him up. You'll find a lot, and so, and they start, looking him up, or I'll start talking about him and like, oh, wow. Okay.
No, he's a legendary amp builder, man.
Yeah.
Like Matchless or whoever else. I mean, he's one of the guys.
Right, exactly. And the cool thing is that this is really the first and only thing he's done that's like kind of geared towards bass players. Everything else he's ever done has all been guitar tube amps. So, or that vein, right? Pushing towards the guitar player. Right. So, so it's kind of cool, man. Overall that we're working with him, and he's been wonderful. He's been absolutely amazing. So,
dude,
yeah.
John was one of the first guys to try the prototype. John, what's your experience, man?
Well, like I told Keith, it made the worst cup of coffee I've ever had.
Oh no.
No,
that's version 2. Version 2 has a Mr. Coffee in it.
It's better.
Yeah.
No, I mean, for me, I talked to Keith a lot about this. I mean, we all had, because we've seen it, the various iterations.
Right.
But one of the biggest reasons for this was he wanted to put kind of the oomph, the balls, the presence, whatever you want to call it, back into the Class D amps.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of what I ran it over, because, I threw it in front of my Bergantino. I threw the one that really worked nice was I threw it in front of my Phil Jones amp at work. And I mean, because that, the Bergantino is a hi-fi amp, but I wouldn't say it's like hi-fi. You know what I mean? There's a nice presence to it and warmth and things. Phil Jones one is definitely, if you have bad technique, it's going to show up real quick.
Right. Right.
So, but no, I found the V15 really did that in spades, really brought a nice presence, a life, as our other friend and Big Bottom alum, Lee Pressgrave, likes to say. He says it brought a little bit of glass to the sound. And really for me too, I like fiddling with both those tubes, because like you were saying, Keith, the 60s one definitely lends itself to a darker, richer sound. The 70s is more of the hi-fi thing. So what I was playing with more was a lot of really diming the lows and the low boost on the 60s one, and then just dialing in some of the 70s to really kind of just focus it and let it cut a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of thing to bring like those really kind of big deep sounds, but still that there's something cutting through it. It's one of those, it's like, I don't know why it just sits in the mix really well, and it's like that's kind of it.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And one of the things I have to say, and it's, I mean, obviously I'm partial to the unit because I've been working on it for so long, but every person that we've had try it out has gotten a recordable, totally functionally working tone in under 5 minutes. And coming at it from kind of the studio background idea, I mean, time is money. And if you can have a guy come in, or you're the guy with it, you bring it in and go, hey, dial, boom, let's rock and roll, we're ready to go. I was just in Vegas with Chuck Bailey and one of his guys that's an engineer. And man, he was like, I always want to have a dry signal and then my wet signal. And he goes, if this was my dry signal, he goes, it doesn't matter what I need to do to it. I'm good. I'm golden with this to start with, So I mean, that's kind of, I think the idea is, I didn't want to create something that had so many knobs and switches and toggles, and this, once you do that, then does this and this and this, and you got to carry the 4 and whatever, I didn't want to do all that stuff. I wanted it to be very simple and, plug it in, turn it on, go for it.
Dude, it's like cooking, right?
Right.
It's not how many ingredients you throw in, it's the quality of the ones you use. Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of, you've hit kind of in the middle, I mean, all of us obviously are big Ready fans,
Right.
and that's just plug and go.
Yep.
And then you have, a lot of other things that have a lot of knobs, a lot of this, and this seems very palatable to anybody.
You can get like an Eden Navigator, which has so many.
Yeah. So this, man, it's nice. It seems, and I definitely want to try it and want to do some stuff with it, but it just seems that it's kind of right in the middle there, where it's not too intimidating for, just the regular hobbyist to, the pro that is just going to do a couple of things and fucking plug in and sound great. So that's very cool, and I really like the different ins and outs. I like the idea of having that that line out for a power amp, or you can go to a return of an amp, and the other thing, I love the Ready. The Ready's my jam. Love it to death. But the only thing is the through is unaffected, which is kind of a drag.
Yep.
And it would be great to have it switchable, either affected or not, because sometimes, it would be great to, you're at a place where you're just playing through just some, who knows what it is. It'll be nice to have a little bit of juice from your DI. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only caveat with the Ready. Other than that, it's like the best home run ever. It just has that thing. The only drag is that through is unaffected. It's like,
Devil's advocate over here. Yeah. I like having an unaffected throughput, right? So, and Keith probably, and you guys were all probably like, this is a parrot like. So I'm really saying this for the audience, right? I look, John's smiling. I could see him right now.
But it's a good thing to have that. I mean, everybody,
If you don't want to stack your gains, right?
Well, you're not. I mean, exactly. You don't want to, but it's nice to have that through affected.
Yep.
Kind of like an effect.
So that's what's kind of cool about the V15 is you could affect something. You could make your Class D more ballsy.
You could do it.
John's test.
Exactly. Yeah.
You could use it as a preamp and a DI. Like, let's say you go into a backline company or whatever, and like you're not bringing your amp, but you want the best high quality sound, like you're doing a flyout day.
Yep.
Well, then okay, you could just go in through the return.
Dude, go to
the
return and you have a fucking killer amp.
Yeah. Just use the power amp of whatever the head might be, like an SVT or something
like
that, right?
Yeah.
And which is pretty common,
Yeah.
I did the big DI test. So I shot this out with I have quite the DI collection. I went with the Ready and the Rupert Neve and the Starlifter and a couple of different radios like the JDI, JDV.
I think all of us have. Between all of us, we.
This is pretty much a DI
Pretty
Dorky
stupid,
group.
yeah.
I'm
So
looking at my shelf over there. I'm like, holy crap, you know.
Mhm.
So I wanted to go. Okay, what can this do? Because to me, a DI is like life. I think it gets overlooked. I think it's the number one thing that bass players overlook. It's like, oh, it's like the tires on your car. Well, you know, hey, that's the thing that touches the road. You know what I mean? Like if you're a car enthusiast, oh, those work. No, you want work, or do you want something that is going to show what you can do?
Right.
Right? I know we say to players, the up and coming players, remember what the people in the audience are hearing. If you're playing a big enough room, the right room is they're not hearing your amp. They're hearing that box that goes to the front of the house.
Mhm.
Don't fucking skimp, right? Don't skimp.
Yep.
So I went through every iteration I could with the V15. I'm basically able to get a ready sound.
nice.
I could get like a classic Motown sound. I got what I call the 70s Motown sound, which is like a little different, slightly different version of it.
Mhm.
You look at the V15 and you get like, oh, this classic thing. Actually, I was able to dial in like a 90s SWR modern sound. Granted, I was using more of the 70s channel.
Yeah, of course.
In fact, I think I barely rolled in any of the 60s, you know,
Right.
but I was able to get, which shocked me. Like I could totally get like the Interstellar Overdrive unit, that thing that they
Oh yeah,
had out.
I think I have
I
it.
was
Yeah.
I was able to get that,
Nice.
and then I was able to get like I would call it like a modern day tube sound, where it's kind of a mix of the both, you know,
Yeah.
where it's like a bright 90s SWR sound, and then something like an Aguilar mixed with it, like the DB750 or something.
I was going to ask if you're going that route.
Yeah, like that was it was just to see if you could get that, and
Sure.
you really could. You really could. I was able to dial in something that I liked personally. I'm like, oh, this is what I would use, you know, which was kind of a healthy combination of both of them together,
Yeah.
you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it was pretty versatile. And one thing I don't understand is, so Bruce's guitar amp has like the different tubes you can blend, the preamp tubes you can blend. Obviously, the V15. Are there any other high-end audio products? I would say ask Gear Sluts, but Gear Sluts is no longer Gear Sluts
What do you
anymore.
mean? What do you mean other?
That blends the different tube preamps, like two different tube preamps.
Well, he did. So I've played with a lot of guitar players who use Egnator, and he used to do these little. He would have heads that had these almost like the 500 series, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, but he would have these little things that he would have one that would be like a boogie rectifier,
Yep.
Like a plug-in box or something?
no,
Yeah.
little squares, yeah, like a plug-in box.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, I forget what it is, but dude, he's the shit when it comes to that stuff. I mean, he really like
Really?
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
a
yeah.
modular little like picture a Marshall JCM 900, right? The
Yeah.
and that chassis would have 6 slots or 4 slots. I don't know. These
That's pretty cool, actually.
And he would have a module that would be, like I said, a dual rectifier. Then he would have a JCM 900. Then he would have a twin reverb. And then he would have a JC 120. He made these things, and they were awesome. So in one head, you could literally have 4 to 6 different amps that you could switch back and forth from.
Now, can you blend them, Steve?
I don't know. Guitar players would know, and
Yeah.
Because I'm surprised more audio people don't have this.
so he doesn't do those anymore. Those are discontinued, but I know some guitar players that had them and have them and fucking love them, because literally it's a little box. You plug it in, and there's your JCM 120. There's your Roland JC 120.
You know, Mark Bass was starting to do something like that,
I remember that.
Yeah, Bruce.
and I don't know why it didn't take off.
Man.
Yeah. Well, he actually sold that idea to Randall and did that with Randall amplifiers. They put that out, but that was actually his concept, his idea, design, everything. And he sold it to them.
Yeah,
And,
but he labeled them under Egnator for a while.
Yeah. They had their own version. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
it was. I heard them, and it was crazy how good they are.
Yep. Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely.
in terms of just knowing tone and tubes and all that, I mean, he's
I'm
Yeah.
surprised that concept hasn't taken off more.
Yeah.
with
Modular aspect.
yeah, but gigging these guys, they got their guitar players, man, they got their big pedal boards, and they have this amp, so.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, honestly, the days of the big refrigerator with the, PCM 90 and the freaking
Yep.
Mesa, but you remember those days with
Yeah.
the Eventide harmonizer,
Mhm.
those are kind of gone. I mean,
Yeah.
it was kind of rad, but when you saw like
Right.
guitar players with these big, giant 26, 30 space racks, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
Joe Filoni.
yeah, I mean, I used to play with the guys, and then they
Yeah.
had the Boogie 112s, two of them, and then they had the big rack of, craziness. Anyways,
Right.
Yeah.
so
And that's all gone to the fractals and the axe effects and the, all that kind of stuff
Yep.
now. That's what those have all gone to.
those darn guitar players,
I know, right? Yeah.
crazy
Thin
guys.
stringers. Yeah.
I mean,
But
it
no,
seems
that's-
like a lot of the guitar players play the fractals, and they're
Mhm.
very practical.
Yeah.
And they
But
sound good.
here's the I forget the analogy, and I apologize. I'm a little tired too. It's a little later on the East Coast, but listening to the fractal is sometimes like an MP3, versus like
Mhm.
listening to like a high quality
Yeah.
CD or recording or something like that. There's something about like a tube amp that just is
Yeah.
so different.
Mhm.
It's so different. You get
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and also too, I mean, like one of the things that I've heard a lot of guys say too is it's like, if you have a fractal or any of the digital stuff and you set it to say a JCM 800, and it's like, okay, well, to the average listener, the average guitar player, especially the average consumer, the average, audience member, they're going to be like, cool. Yeah. Tube amp. No, all day. No worries. But if you A and B'd it right next to a JCM 800, a real one, you'd be like, oh yeah, there's a difference there. You know what I mean? And it's not quite, I mean, it's a subtle difference maybe, but it's enough to make a difference. Or you could hear the tone difference. And that I've heard that, I've heard guys say that kind of stuff. But again, I mean, like, the fact that with a push of one button or a turn of a knob, you've got, 8 different amps and a million presets and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes touring's a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
harder to do. Touring's a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of metal bands, they just take their Kempers on the road.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's
No, a lot of touring acts do because they don't have any. Everybody's on in-ears.
Yep.
So if you can IR a whatever DI to
Yep.
any of it, and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely.
But-
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as like tube gear goes, and really, this is designed for, I mean, it's designed to go take out on tour and gig and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, really it's like, the guys that are doing home studios, recording stuff, you know what I mean? The higher end guy who's gonna, who doesn't mind, slugging along, something like this, you know what I mean? So, and, and again, in the studio, I mean, the thing that I like about it is it gives you, for one performance, you essentially could have 2 to 3 tracks, right? You could split it out multiple ways. So it kind of gives you a lot of different options, which is really cool. And especially in the studio, you're always looking for that. You're always looking for, okay, what piece of gear can I use that's going to give me multiple things that I can use in multiple ways to make it work,
Mhm.
So, yeah. And we've ran, the other thing too, is obviously all 3 of you guys are bass players, but we've ran violin through it, and we've ran, I had Chance, Oddity run his upright bass, and I had Nate Light run his upright bass through it. And I think John, didn't you say you did your upright as well, or no?
Mhm.
Yeah. So
The upright and my electric upright.
Right. So quick question for you. What was your thought on the electric upright? Because I know what Chance was saying. I'm just curious what yours was.
I think that was the one that had the best benefit from it, because it really did start to bring a lot more of the body to the NS.
Yep. Yeah, that is
To a
Chance. Yeah, Chance said the exact same thing. So
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely.
What's the input impedance on that? Is it compensated for piezo pickups?
It will handle it. I don't know exactly the actual impedance, what it is, but it handled it just fine.
All right.
So yeah,
Mhm.
so you didn't have any issues with that at all. So yeah. And Yeah, and then we've ran acoustic guitar through it, banjo through it, and I
So
actually
lots of piezo pickups or piezo.
yeah, lots of
Mhm.
yeah, lots of crazy stuff. We actually ran a Fender Rhodes through it, which
Yeah.
sounded epic,
Nice.
absolutely epic.
Nice.
So yeah, man. And then I just got one of these guys. It's basically the opposite of a DI, but a little converter, impedance converter for to go from your microphone signal to a quarter inch. So
Yeah.
now
Oh, yeah.
now I can run a microphone directly into the front end of the actual V15. So yeah,
that.
yeah, there you go. Yeah. So so I can actually run now, you know, a kick drum through it, or an overhead mic, or a vocal mic, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so
Wait a second. Have you ran a vocal through it?
I have not yet. No. I believe I was actually talking to Joe about it on text, and he was saying it'd be really cool to run like a female vocal that's like kind of lacking that low end body out of her voice. Run that through it, and you know, to kind of boost in some lows as well.
You basically just get an impedance transformer like this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This one's
I think
badass.
Joe's got the right artist, Vanessa. That would be perfect for that too.
Yeah, man.
You know, we talked about one. We had one out east where we're gonna record a tune where all our parts, Joe's guitar parts, my parts, everything would be done using the V15.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be super rad.
Nice.
Yeah. So so that's basically that.
Is it available? Is it available yet?
So by the time this video comes out, the public sale will be up, so you can buy, so the public can buy it online.
Okay.
So that'll be cool. We're looking at 2 to 3 months because it'll be kind of like a pre-order thing.
Yeah.
And then we're shooting for at the time we're filming this. I talked to Bruce today, and we just got basically the last squared away. It was a power transformer, custom wound power transformer was what we had to get for this thing. And we were using for this one, it actually has like an off the shelf one, and he had to do some magic to make it work. And so, so he's like, it'd be a lot easier and a lot better if we had a custom wound power transformer. So we got that all squared away. So that's all good to go. So, and unfortunately right now, because of COVID and everything, as you guys know, being in the business as well, shipping is a total nightmare right now. With everything, getting parts, shipping parts, doing all that kind of stuff. So that's really kind of the headache that right now we're going to end up running probably.
A side note for you California guys.
Yeah.
Is there still issues trying to get like the Long Beach, all the cargo ships coming in? Is that still an issue out there?
No, I was just there. I was just there 2 days
Steve,
ago.
you look confused.
Yeah, I don't think, I think it was, I know what you're talking about. I think that started loosening up, or they started letting stuff in, like, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there was some guys didn't want to work, and I think that there was a COVID-based thing, and some people didn't feel safe.
I think there was a little backup for a while, but I think it.
Okay, that's not happening now.
Yeah, like I said, I was literally just there 2 days ago, and it was packed. There were ships and stuff everywhere. So
good. Hopefully my bike's there. Okay.
Yeah,
that's all that mattered. It's just
That's all that matters.
Where's my shit?
Where's my bike? Where's my bike?
That's funny.
Yeah. So anyway, so we're looking at 2 to 3 months out for shipping the first units.
Okay.
And we're kind of our production goal is to do about 30 every 2.5 to 3 months.
Okay.
So once the first 30, which out of the first 30, we've already got as we're recording this, we've gotten 17 already sold out of the first 30.
Nice.
So that's great. And then we'll open up once that first 30 is sold, then we'll open up the second pre-order, and we'll just kind of keep doing it that way. As they sell out, and just move on that way, and just keep cranking these things out. So
can you tell us the street price, the going price?
Yeah. So the street price is going to be $1,300.
Okay.
So, obviously it's a little bit more than a Ready, but it does more than a Ready does, so it's comparable with, really I'm kind of placing it in there with the Noble and the Acme, which kind of, it sits right there with them. So I think the Noble's like $1,400-$1,500. What's that?
900 or something like that. 999 or 1,000, isn't it?
I think it's more than that.
I think it's more than that now. Hold
Yeah,
on.
I think it
Yes,
was
it was
originally.
more
I think
now,
originally
yeah.
it was, but I know they've had a lot of. I think he's like almost a year backed
Raised
out.
it. Wow.
Yeah, I
And
think
Yeah, and
so.
I think when
That's
this goes
cool.
on Talkbase, the Talkbase guys will be like, "No, this is what it is." You know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Well, you
exactly.
Talkbase listeners, please inform us.
Yeah, sure. Please do that. That's
Nah,
exactly
they're
what
gonna
we
get
want.
all on that, and they're gonna completely crash it again for another week. So
Right. Yeah. So, and then I think the Acme, you guys would probably know better than I do. I think that's pushing like close to $2,000, I think.
Oh shit.
I think that's somewhere where it's at. So,
Hmm.
but you know,
I've
again,
never played that one. Steve, you played that, right?
I didn't play the Acme. No.
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 Yeah. So,
all right, you're talking right now. The Noble preamp is $1,100.
Oh wow. Yeah. There you go.
okay.
Yeah.
$1,100. So there you go. So yeah, so you know, I mean, we're right there in the middle of it, and you know, whenever you start talking like preamps, you know, if you looked at getting, you know, any kind of anything that's a 500 series, you're looking at $1,000 up.
Well, you got two preamps that you can blend, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
It's a different game, man. You know.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And again, you're also talking, if you wanted to think about it in this way too, how much does a decent B15 from the 60s go for? Easily a few grand.
Yeah, I would say, well, definitely
hold on.
25 up.
John,
Google that shit.
Yeah. Get on it, John.
Yeah.
And likewise, the same thing. You also have early 70s too. You know what I mean? So it's like you've got two of those. So even that right there, even if they're $1,000, you're talking $2,000 right there.
No, man, it's for what it is. Yeah. That's good.
So
good price.
Now we're gonna have some people demoing it and playing it at NAMM 2022.
oh yeah, yep, yeah. So we've already
Is that illegal to talk about right now? Can we talk about Winter NAMM 2022? Is that
as
all
long
right?
as it's happening,
Yeah.
sure, yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. The
And
plan,
B15s on Reverb are starting at $2,300.
the how much? I'm sorry, B15.
2,300.
23. Okay.
Starting.
Yeah. And what year roughly is that?
That's probably a 60s.
Okay.
And I think from what it looked like, it said good condition. So,
Right. Right. So it's only been dropped down the stairs a few times.
I mean, it only smells like beer and bad decisions, you know.
Bad decisions. I love it. I love it.
Oh, it's a great quote. You
Yeah.
smell like beer and bad decisions.
Yeah. It's gonna be Tony's new band name.
Yeah.
Beer and bad decisions.
Funny side note on that, I was in Sandusky, Ohio, with one of our artists, Jasmine Kane. I actually sat in with her at the Ohio bike rally a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I got on stage and played Pantera.
Nice.
So
Walk?
yeah.
You guys do walk?
No, we did Cowboys from Hell.
Nice.
That's my favorite one is Cowboys from Hell.
That's the set. Yeah.
And
Great
another
gym music.
shout out to a fellow Tsunami artist. I actually talked to Weena Velasco
Oh yeah.
because she's in Cowgirls from Hell. So I was like, hey, I need to really shed this quick. She's like, oh, here's the chart I wrote for it.
You're like, thank you.
Right. And note to players, do you need to read music? In that case, yes.
Yeah.
Because it saved me hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But getting back to it, because I had done a ton of musical theater gigs at Cedar Point Amusement Park in Sandusky. That quote came from as we were driving out of Ohio Bike Week to kind of grab some food afterwards. I was like, yeah, welcome to Sandusky, where the roads are paved with beer and bad decisions.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Wasn't that Sandusky? Wasn't that where Tommy Boy was based?
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay. Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That is absolutely.
Wow, Steve, you put.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
man.
that. That's one of the
That
best.
was a
I
pull.
love that movie.
Yeah. That's a great
well,
movie.
Steve did this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Ah, wow,
Dan
useful piece of
Aykroyd's
information.
part. Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd, Bo Derek,
Bo Derek, Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe, Brian Dennehy.
Yeah.
So good. So good. Anyway.
Stephen Miller.
What?
I don't know. I just threw
Oh
that
yeah,
out
Steve
there.
Miller was in there. Yeah.
Tony just wanted to throw a name out too.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw a name out that sounded inappropriate. I have no
Horace
clue.
Leachman.
I love it. I love it. I
Oh,
love
man.
it.
All right, so
Um,
we have a few questions that
Yeah.
we asked.
Go for it.
And I want to make sure that we all pick the appropriate question, right? So
Well, hey, real quick, while you
Yeah.
think about that, you were talking about
So,
Nam
because
before.
if I remember
yeah,
correctly,
let's before we go to the three questions. Nam.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
For some
before,
people who think it's not safe. Okay.
before John rudely interrupted us. So yeah, so we have a 10 by 20 booth for Nam, which is twice the size of what we had last year or whatever it was. Yeah, last year. And we're planning on doing a 10 by 10 sound room as well.
Nice.
So for demos and stuff like that in there, we'll be able to keep people, safe and, do videos and do all that kind of stuff inside. The other 10 by 10 will basically just be for sales and that kind of stuff. But yeah, all the performance stuff will all be inside the booth. So we can kind of, really get some really good audio captured out of it.
This is all assuming that the country is reached its
right.
percentage of vaccinations and so forth. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we make jokes about it, but especially I do, but we want everyone to be safe. Right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
We want everyone to feel comfortable.
100%.
And we're hoping 8 months from now, which Winter Nam would be 8 months from now, that the majority of this country will be in that position.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and I know I'm the first guy who wants to be like, let's go do it right now.
Yeah.
And I admit it, but I also want everyone to feel comfortable too.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, I have high hopes that.
Yeah. Well, and also too, the way NAM has done this stuff, and John, you feel free to chime in on this, but the way they've done stuff is kind of, if they, since they didn't do NAM earlier this year, they just rolled over everybody's kind of deposits of what you put into the next year. So, for me, it's like, okay, well, let's plan for this as a company. Let's get this in. And okay, worst case scenario, we're not where we want to be, and they cancel it another year and they get pushed out. Okay, well then the following year, my booth's already paid for. I'm already ready to go. So it's not really that at the end. Of the world.
Flying out there in January, anyways. No, I'm being no matter what. I'm coming
no matter
out there.
what. Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
So if you are flying out, there's actually a new Spring Hill by Marriott, which we just visited, that literally is at the end of Fender Avenue. That's right by GNL. So
nice.
You can stay there.
There you go.
I'll stay there if no NAM's coming on. I'll just stay there.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Or hey, everybody, just stay at my place. Come on, guys.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Absolutely.
There you go.
We could have a Big Bottom summer camp.
It just sounds so
camp.
wrong.
Will Coco be okay with that?
Wrong.
Big Bottom winter camp.
It sounds so wrong on so many levels. Let me just step aside here. All three of you having Big Bottom winter camp at Steve's house. I live close enough I can stay at my own house.
Hey, everybody, Google Big Bottom summer camp right now. Alexa,
yeah,
Big Bottom summer camp.
Yeah, I see a meme competition coming out for Big Bottom summer camp or winter camp. All right. Anyway,
only if Coco puts more Tinder pics up. All right.
Okay. Yeah. There you go, man.
Yeah, Steve's dog had a Tinder pick up on.
I saw that earlier. It was great.
The frog dog. She does the frog dog. She's all sexy and stuff.
I love it. I love it.
So funny, man. Yeah.
All right. So what were your questions?
Steve, please proceed.
Oh, you want me to go?
Wait, Steve.
Right now.
What would you say to me right now?
No,
How
no,
long
no.
are we doing this?
Dude, you know what I'm thinking. I think I'm gonna steal somebody's question.
Uh-oh.
Well, you're taking a page out of my book. I was
take
gonna
a
go last.
Don's really good at that. Don't take
I had
his...
it down
All right.
this time.
I'm gonna take one. I'm gonna take one.
All right.
I'm random. I'm randomizing. You just rolled your eyes at me, Tony. I saw that.
He just doesn't want his stolen again.
John's really good at it.
Nice.
Okay, I won't. Keith, living or dead, who would you have loved to study with? See, I didn't take it.
Man, that's Keith Moon.
Whoa.
Yeah. probably. It was either him or Mitch Mitchell.
Oh,
Because okay, now this is the thing. I went with dead guys. I think Mitch Mitchell's dead. I would imagine.
I think so.
Yeah.
But Mooney, dude, Keith.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, but I went with dead guys because I could think of, maybe I could get one with one of the more recent guys that's not
Sure.
dead. So, but
But Moon, I mean,
Yeah,
that
man.
would be like kind of a pseudo study and just whatever, anything goes.
oh,
That'd
100%.
be rad, right?
Yeah, oh, 100%.
I would
yeah.
have just liked to hang with Keith.
Oh
Moon.
my
I would have
God.
liked
No,
to
that's what
be
I'm
his
saying.
favorite.
Yeah, that I think it would be more of a hang than it would
Oh.
be a study session. I think it would be getting really loaded and seeing what the hell happens.
Do you think you could hang with him?
Drinking wise?
Well, anything goes. Anything
Right. Yeah, I don't
goes.
know, man. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but he'd probably last longer than I would. I'd probably have to tap out.
But I think you could do it.
I would definitely give it the college try. I would
Yes.
definitely try. That's for
Dude.
sure.
No, I love it. Keith Moon. God, man, what a monster. What a great
Yeah,
player.
absolutely.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
Tony.
Yeah.
Me? Oh, I go. Me. All right. Well, we're taking this out of order now. I feel
We
weird.
only are just because I want to make sure what I think I'm supposed to say is correct, and I figured the better way is to have you do it.
We're
I
very,
love it.
very professional.
This is
I love
the process of elimination for
Yeah.
John.
That's part of it. Yes.
So Keith, living or dead, who would you like to share a meal with?
Oh man. Okay, so the first one that popped to my head was Steve Gadd, who's living.
Really?
Yeah. Well, okay, so most recorded drummer of all time.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's got to have stories, man. It'd be the longest meal ever. I went to a clinic with him once and he played for maybe 10 minutes out of an hour and a half long clinic. And the rest of it was just him talking.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean, I think that would just be kind of epic just to sit there and listen to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how nerdy you were on the drums aspect. I'm learning more and more.
Yeah, man.
I've known you for years, and this is
he's like legit drummer, man. He's come on.
no. I mean that I know, but like another.
You got one of those
another
fancy
nerd level,
seats
you
that,
know.
is nice for his butt. And
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. It's got the ball trench. Yeah. It's a fancy seat. Absolutely.
High school scene with the ball trench.
Yeah, exactly what it is. Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, John.
All right, living or dead, who would you like to jam with?
Ooh. Again, I'll just go with the first thing that popped in my head. Tony's pointing at himself. That popped in my head first. Be Hendrix.
Ooh.
I think Hendrix would be. Yeah. It'd be okay. So I'll revise that. I think Hendrix for sure. My second would be Clapton. And the reason for that would be that's the first concert I ever went to. It was an Eric Clapton concert. My mom's a huge fan of Eric Clapton. So, I'd make sure she was there. And, but yeah, man, that would be, I think Hendrix would be the jam guy. Cause I think the jams would be epic,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would just be kind of crazy. So,
That's cool.
yeah, absolutely.
Clapton's cool. I named my daughter after one of his songs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great, man. So
Nice.
I did.
awesome. Well, thanks, guys. This has been great, man.
Awesome. Oh yeah, socials and website.
Yeah, man.
Tony?
Yeah. Mr. A&R.
Well, you
Touching
can
things
reach
up.
anything about Keith Stickney at tsunamicables.com. Okay.
We all know that.
Say
So
that
yes.
one more time.
Oh yes. So okay. So
Tsunamicables.com. Keith Stickney.
Navicables.com, but again, Keith is a fucking badass drummer. Like,
Well, thank you.
Like, really, really good. So, do you have any socials on your own that you do drum stuff? Like, just for the peoples to know. Do you have?
Yeah. Keith Sticks on Instagram. So it's Keith_Sticks STIXX.
Okay.
I'll
put that under your.
Yeah, sure. And that's just like my personal Instagram kind of thing. I try to keep that music, like my music and music stuff related only, not business stuff. So if you're looking for Tsunami Cables and business stuff, go to the website or go to, tsunamicables.com on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Keith Sticks on Facebook as well, but yeah, that's it. And
You're a well-rounded gentleman.
I'm
You're not a one-trick pony. You do a lot of shit. You're a musical man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. We want people to know that. So, and that's a really cool thing too, is having somebody that, all of us are in this whole thing, and it's nice to have somebody that actually is a player, is a legit player that is making these things, but actually plays, and has ears and knows kind of what musicians use, what they do, how they act, and all that.
Keith's a player first.
Yeah, that's important. We always talk about that. I think that's a really important thing. So, anyways.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. I think we're done with 29. Are we done, Tony?
So 29, and then you have to give your tagline now, Steve.
My tagline. All right. This is when we go. Wait, what?
This is where we go to the green room and talk the real shit about people.
Yeah. We start talking shit. We say bye to the audience.
Gotcha.
We talk shit while I turn off the recording, but we.
Thank you, John.
There you go. Thank you. I know.
I mean, I've stolen your stuff before. Might as well steal Steve's today.
So, Keith, thank you very much. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate you being on it. Big Bottom, episode 29. Keith Stickney, Tsunami Cables, V15. We're going to talk shit. We'll see everybody. Goodbye.
Peace.
Bye. Hold on. Stop recording.